Coming up on the Paper Talk today, we're going to be talking about Ederson. We're being heavily linked with the Atalanta midfielder, and it looks like something could be happening.
Manchester United fans, this one is massive. For months, we've talked about midfield reinforcements. A partner for Kobbie Mainoo, a destroyer, a screen for the back four. Michael Carrick has found his man, Ederson, from Atlanta, the Brazilian who has been one of Serie A's most dominant defensive midfielders. Personal terms? Agreed. 5-year contract? On the table. And according to sources, this move is closer than ever. Jay is live outside Old Trafford with the details.
The big story this morning, obviously, other than yesterday's game and the fact that Bruno Fernandes broke the assist record, which he has done, some people saying it was an own goal, but it's been credited to Patrick Dorgu, or Ballon Dorgu as he's known. The big story is about Manchester United's sort of ongoing pursuit of Ederson, and it looks like something could be happening with this one now. A few outlets reporting, Ben Jacobs I think reported it, saying that Manchester United have agreed terms with the Atalanta midfielder on a 5-year deal. Now, that doesn't mean the deal is done. Terms may agree between the player and the club, but the clubs still need to get over the line in terms of the fee. Now, there's varying reports on what the fee should be or could be. Some saying it could be as low as 35 million, others saying it could be up to 50 million. I think anything over 40 million for a player who is out of contract in a year is excessive. I really do. This isn't a player who's worth sort of 100 million where you might go, well, look, if we can get him now, it's worth paying him 40 million. This is a good midfielder. I think that, there's no disputing that. Is he one of the best midfielders in the world? Probably not. Is he a good midfielder? Yes. Can he do a job here? It looks like he can. His contract's out in a year. Is it worth paying sort of 30 million for him? Maybe it is to get him in for next year. You'd probably say, yeah, we need him now. But anything over that, 35 towards 40 million, I think you're overpaying. Get involved in the chat and the comments. Let me know what you think about Ederson, because he's a player that some of us haven't seen loads of, but you might have seen a bit of him. We are getting a Serie A football expert on the channel today, who's going to give us a little bit more background, a little bit more info on Ederson, what type of a player he is, what he can offer Manchester United, whether he'll be any good, whether he thinks he'll be any good in the Premier League. So we'll have that on the channel later on today. But it does seem as though Ederson to Manchester United is moving forward. And let's not forget, this is kind of what Ineos do. They go for they tend to speak to players ahead of a transfer. So they'll say, right, look, can we get this player? Is this player going to come to Manchester United? If the answer is yes, he is, then we'll make a move in terms of making a transfer bid. So this is kind of what happened with Matheus Cunha. I know it's slightly different because it was a buyout clause, but the club spoke to the player, realised that he was up for coming to Manchester United, and then got him. With Bryan Mbeumo, there was definitely a dialogue that went on there between the club and Bryan Mbeumo. Other clubs were interested in him. Newcastle were interested. Spurs were interested in him, but we knew we could get him at Manchester United because we'd spoken to him. We knew he was willing to come. The same with Benjamin Sesko. If you look at that, Newcastle actually, I think, ended up bidding more than Manchester United, but Manchester United got the deal over the line because we'd spoken to Benjamin Sesko and we were confident that that deal could happen, and it did. So this is kind of the MO for Ineos. They'll speak to the player, find out that he's happy to come to Manchester United, agree the terms with the player, or find out what the terms are going to be so they know they're not completely on different pages, and then they'll make a bid. So I expect some movement on this transfer sooner rather than later, because United, it seems, want to get our transfer business done early, or at least some of our transfer business done early, back Michael Carrick properly, give him the support he needs going into next season. There's a good article by Laurie Whitwell in The Athletic just on Michael Carrick, talking about why he ended up as Manchester United manager, how he sort of shifted the opinion of those above him from him just being a temporary fix to the problems here at Manchester United to a permanent one. No revelations there that it was obviously his caretaker stint that did that. I think everyone knows that. He wasn't planned on, or they hadn't planned on him being the permanent Manchester United manager, but thanks to the superb performances he got from the players and the great results, going right back to that first game against Manchester City under Michael Carrick, he sort of forced the issue to the point where Ineos were like, look, we've got to give him the job because look at the job he's doing, and we want to see him continue to do that. So we're going to get Laurie in, as we always do for Inside United, and we'll go through that article with him, find out the nuts and bolts and just behind the scenes sort of stories onto just how that decision came about. Michael Carrick, obviously permanent Manchester United manager, as you all know, and I'm chuffed to bits that he is, and I think he deserves it.